How's everybody doing? Welcome back to Tree Tuesdays. So this channel's been doing really good lately. It's been growing, everything's been going nice. So let's play a game, shall we? Like to save the forest, like to save the trees. For every 50 likes this video gets, I will go buy 3 trees and I will plant them somewhere. I'll record it, put it up on the channel. I'll plant them out in the wild somewhere. Up to, let's say, a max of 15 trees, because anything beyond that would be creating just way too much of a project for myself to take on. So today we're looking at a really cool family of trees. This is a family of trees that I myself have been interested in starting to cultivate for a couple of years now. And a couple of weeks ago, I went and got my starters. And the impetus, the thing that finally pushed me to do that was making this video. I decided to make this video, and so I needed the trees to do it, right? So today we're going to be looking at fig trees, and more specifically, we're going to be looking at the brown turkey fig. So let's start out by taking a look at mine, see what these guys look like. All right, awesome. So here we are with the first 2 starter trees for my crop of figs. And these again are brown turkey figs. What's up with these guys? Why would you want them? Obviously, the biggest reason that anybody would want to grow fig trees is for the figs. They are well loved by a lot of people. Personally, not my speed, to be honest with you, but they're not terrible. If you look online, you will find that there are just an abundance of different types of fig trees. And they have a wide variety of different appearances, and they also can be very, very decorative and very, very beautiful trees. Something I didn't know until I got these guys: they're also a very good smelling tree. They smell incredible. Like, their leaves, their foliage smells like figs all the time. Now these ones here, they are small. These are so small, in fact, that they're not even going to produce this year. They will produce probably their first real fruit next year, which is okay. That gives me time to catch them up and get them acclimated. But yeah, so they're decorative trees. They're good smelling, fragrant trees. They produce a well-loved fruit. So let's go ahead and take a look at how to care for them. So this here is a dried brown turkey fig. And okay, I undersold that. They're good. They are absolutely delicious. So say you want to grow your own. What do we need to do? So ficus carica. Yes, I said ficus. What is the difference between a ficus and a fig? You might start looking up figs online and come and find ficus. So there is no difference, technically. Ficus is the botanical name for the family of plants. Fig is a common name. Colloquially speaking, though, when you're talking about a fig tree, you're specifically talking about the edible fruit-bearing varieties in the ficus family, right? Now, these are tropical plants, so they ideally would be in a warm, humid climate. Organically rich, consistently moist, well-draining soil. You'll notice that mine, which I can see out the window right here, that's why I'm looking off that way. Mine are at the bottom of a hill, right on the edge of the swamp. And I did use my typical tree planting mix to plant them, right? So they are pretty much in their ideal climate there, which is good. The soil acidity is typically needs to be around neutral. Their ideal range is 6.5 to 7.5, although more experienced fig growers do say that they can survive a pretty wide variety of soil pH levels. You need 2.5 to 4 centimeters of water a week. We will come back to that though, because there is an exception, and they will be fertilized in the spring. Obviously, organic compost is best. top dressing with organic compost like you would for any tree planted in the ground. But if you do want to use chemical fertilizers, a 10-10-10 balanced fertilizer or a purpose-built fruit-bearing tree fertilizer is the best suggestion. You're also going to want them in direct sunlight. 6 to 8 hours a day is recommended. Caveat: a lot of experienced fig farmers say that if you're in a hot, dry environment, examples that come to my head would be like New Mexico or Arizona, they may actually do better outside of direct sunlight because the moisture lost through that extra heat and sunlight counterbalances the benefits gained from being in the sunlight. Also, make sure you set aside enough space for a tree that's going to get 4 to 6 meters tall, 12 to 20 feet. Don't put it in the ground and then find out later it's going to be growing up into your gutter where you planted it. So that all being said, you kind of have a care cycle here. And we're going to start off early spring, right? Early spring, you're going to fertilize your plants. And then you're going to begin excessively watering them. This is a tip that I got from several more experienced caretakers to figs. The reason for this is that you're trying to stimulate new growth as the plant comes out of dormancy. The main crop of the fig tree, the main fruit crop of fig trees, grows primarily, if not exclusively, on new growth. So stimulating that new growth is incredibly important. After that, you're going to get on some varieties of fig trees what's called a breba crop, which is going to come in at the end of spring to early summer. This is a smaller crop. The brown turkey figs do have it. This is a smaller crop that comes in early and grows more on the old growth of the tree. After that, late summer to early fall, you're going to have your main crop. Once that has been harvested, at the end of fall, when the plant starts to go into dormancy, you're going to want to do your clippings. Now, this is where you're going to get your offspring as well. You're going to get them from the seeds from that main crop, and then you're going to get them from the clippings in early fall. Now, the reason that you're doing this, aside from the offspring, is to cut away some of the old growth to allow for new growth to come in. Because again, that's very important here. So then the plant goes into dormancy throughout the winter. Early spring rolls around, you'll fertilize again, you'll again begin the water stimulation cycle, and everything will repeat. So that being said, my plants here, it is early spring. It's going to be a while before I can do any cuttings from them. It's going to be a while before they bear any fruit. So I've done a test cutting. We'll go ahead and take a look at that before we wrap up. So here we are with my test cutting, my first test cutting of a fig. And this guy here, his whole purpose is just to test the viability of these guys growing from cuttings. Now, there are a lot of ways to grow from cuttings. Maybe someday I'll do a video on the 24 different ways that just I alone use. But this is a very, very simple and straightforward type of cutting. This is basically the 101 cutting, right? I literally just took a cutting from the proper part, made the proper cut in the bottom of it. I used IAA to stimulate root growth, and I'm just seeing how things go. Now, it was kept out of the sun for the first 10 days or so, and now I'm gradually reintroducing it to sunlight. Obviously, I'm keeping it in a humidity supporting container, which is something that you should do. A lot of people will take all the leaves off of a cutting. I usually will leave just one on there, and I have a reason for doing that. I found that it gives you a good indication of when the cutting is starting to root. So you'll start to see changes in that leaf, and that way you don't have to have it in storage in such a way that you can see whether or not the roots have grown or not. Okay, so before we go, I do want to touch on a couple of concerns that came up constantly in my research about this plant. One of them is bark crack. Apparently, this plant has an issue where if it's over fertilized, it is prone to letting the bark crack, which allows all sorts of parasites and infections and other not good things to happen. So it's something to be mindful of. If you see that, the cause is that you have over fertilized the plant. You might want to take some dirt out, replace it with some more sterile dirt, and see if you can balance things out. It is also susceptible to leaf blight, which is something that I've talked about in the past. I do have a short on leaf blight if you're interested in that. Almost every tree, every fruit-bearing tree that I know of at least, is susceptible to leaf blight. So this is not something unique to fig trees. It's not a particular warning just related to them. So, all that being said, are you interested in growing fig trees? Are you interested in starting a fig farm? Let me know. Let me know if there's anything I missed. Like I said, not super experienced on this one, so maybe more experienced fig farmers have something that they would like to add to all of this. If not, I'll see you in the next video, Farm Friday. Have a great day. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace.